They used to test bombs here too. Aerojet. There's that.
They filmed War of the Worlds there too.
Really?
In Chino State Park.
So there's this place, Aerojet, in Chino Hills, where they used to make. It was like a factory.
Yeah, you can Wikipedia that shit.
Yeah.
There was like a bomb testing facility there.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of our friends have cancer and probably why we're the way we are.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
And that's why everyone has cancer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, we know a lot of people with like absolutely hilarious mental disabilities.
Yes.
And weird situation that you're like, what's going on in that fucking city? What was in the water? Like people are like, it's arsenic, it's aliens, it's missile testing. It's like there's so much stuff going on in Chino Hills.
Right.
I think we should talk about that right now.
Yeah. Okay. So the thing is, I always felt like we were away from everything. It always felt like we were so far, but we weren't. We're really not. It's like we're so central to so many things. But growing up, it felt like you were out of nowhere. And you tell certain people like that are from out of state, and they're like, "What the fuck is that?" You know, like, it sounds like it's like.
Well, I mean, they mentioned it in Queens of Stone Age. Remember, the last, what is it? The last place on Earth, Chino Hills.
Yeah, Chino Hills.
And I remember the first time I heard that, I was like, what? Like one of the greatest rock bands of all time mentioned Chino Hills? Like, oh my god! Like it's so exciting.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is, there was a lot of like weird stuff growing up there because I think there was just it felt boring. So you had to be like. I feel like for an artist, you could thrive, especially with the setting, because it was so weird. Carbon Canyon, the portal to Orange County. There's a windy road that everyone gets scared on when they go through, but it takes you to Orange County, and there's so much folklore there. It's so fun. Like people say that there's this guy that owned all these strip clubs and he got shot up, and he owned this mansion,
dude.
And have you heard about
that?
Dude,
well, I mean, I haven't heard that one. You know, the mayor of the canyon.
Yeah, the guy that
he looks like, what is it? Who is it from Beavis and Butthead? Is it? It's not Kyler. Todd, because he had Killer on his, and they called him Kyler, right? It's Todd.
Yeah,
he looked like Todd, like blonde mullet, walking around with a Pabst, beat up like wife beater shirt, wandering through the canyon in high school. When we would go through the canyon, we'd be like, "Well, there's the mayor."
Yeah,
the mayor of the canyon. Like I don't know whatever happened to him.
He died.
Did he die?
They found him. Dude. But he was just doing the walk. He just walked.
He would just walk the canyon.
There's a community, Sleepy Hollow, which is also really kind of strange.
Spooky, weird. Dude, my friend's sister lived up there, yeah.
Yeah, the people up there, they always put up weird, like, rock formation. Like, they always make these little rock things. And it's just this weird, strange community. And, dude, I mean, that fire fucked up the canyon, too. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, always fires.
The biker bar. Remember the biker bar, La Vida?
La Vida, dude.
Yeah.
La Vida Hot Springs.
Yeah, I remember our car broke down in the 90s. And it was, we didn't have a car phone or a cell phone, of course. So, like, we were sitting there, and some guy helped us. And I remember we waited for our parents to get in first. Because the guy was, like, super overjoyed to help these people, We're like, huh. Like, there was
it's too creepy. You're like, how coked out is this? As a kid, you don't understand. But you're like, how coked out is this guy?
Yeah. You could tell because he's like, come on, kids. And he, like, kind of... Like, all right. And we waited for our parents to get in. And they're like, yeah, it's smart you did that. But he took us to the bar. And they were so rude to my dad. He just wanted to use the payphone. And like, it's out there, fuck. They're just literally dicks. And, now.
That's just suburbs anyways. Though. If they don't know you, like, there's a little bit of that small town thing going on in any restaurant in the suburbs where they're like...
True.
You're not a local real estate agent having a luncheon.
Oh yeah, fuck the suburbs. Dude,
no, we're not gonna turn around and say fuck the suburbs, dude. Yeah. Suburbs is great. I mean, like, there's a reason the suburbs is great, but you give up stuff to live in the suburbs, just like you give up stuff to live in the city.
Right.
You know what I mean? You give up space and privacy and like quietness and peace to live in the city, and in the suburbs you give up your dreams and sushi restaurants and just joking. I freaking love the suburbs. Yeah. Suburbs is amazing.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it was a strange because there's all this lore about like a fucking cult, like oh, you found dead dogs.
I think there is a cult back there because remember there's a couple in Carbon Canyon. It's the connection of Orange County and San Bernardino County. So you've got Chino Hills goes to Carbon Canyon, and then all of a sudden now you're in Brea at the Nordstrom's Rack. Like it's pretty trippy, and like there's a couple like areas in there where there's like security turnouts where you're like, why is there a security post here in the middle of a suburban like canyon area? There's also like the canyon starts off in Chino Hills, as you'd imagine, with like track homes, like a nice neighborhood that you're like kind of into the canyon, but you're still pretty much Chino Hills, right? And then you get into a spot like Sleepy Hollow, like you're talking about, where it's like, dude, like steep, like literally like you're in kind of like you're in the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee, like hills like this, like one lane that you would never want to drive on an icy day.
No.
And like you feel the weird energy of a canyon when you're in the canyon. I love canyons. I always go into them, but you're like, this is where fugitives hide. This is where there's biker bars. This is where like scary people like will be like living alone, like plotting whatever the hell you call them.
Yeah, my friend dated this girl who went to this really like kind of religious like culty church there, and they got in trouble for like killing a cow or something.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And then there's also a cult in there.
Carbon Canyon?
Yeah. Yeah. And there's also
I mean, I'm a beef eater, but I'm like, you don't need to like, oh God, people are so weird. What's that one thing where they kick a goat off like a cliff and you're like, what the hell's the matter with these people?
Yeah,
I mean, we eat the meat. I mean, I use animal products all day, so I guess I'm just being a hypocrite or whatever they call them in ancient Greece.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of
God,
old
I feel
things.
guilty about that. I wish we didn't have to hurt anything to live the way we live. But then I'm like, but we have to, and I'm not going to change the way I live. God,
it's tough.
Being a human's confusing.
It is weird. And I think, my grandpa, this reminds me of something very funny growing up. My grandpa told us a story about some guy who was fooling around with the animals. He's fooling around at his stock in the barn.
Did he say it's my cousin in Canada? You'll never meet him. It was your grandpa, actually.
Oh yeah, he was a poor fella. He like empathized with this guy that got busted for milking the cow and.
Did you mean that in a sexual way?
Yes, he was boning a cow and he got caught and he was like shamed by the community in Maine, in some like small town in Maine. And
isn't that what you do in Maine? I mean, not to be a pretentious Californian, but I thought that's what they do.
We going to fuck a cow. That's just
is that a Maine? That's Boston,
New England, sort of adjacent. But
yeah, have some clam chowder and then have a little clam chowder, if you know what I mean. Like jack off clams. Do clams have dicks?
They should, dude.
They should.
Everything should have dicks.
How preposterous to yell at science or God that way. They should have dicks. There's a bug in the system here.
Yeah.
Clam dicks.
Clam dicks.
Clam dicks. Beat it, clam dick. It seems like an old thing you'd say to someone.
It does. Yeah.
Because it insinuates you have a tiny dick, right? Because clams don't. Yeah.
I mean, they can't have big dicks. I mean, it would.
God, big dick clam.
Close the shell if they got like a Lexington steel. You know?
No one said the clam's dick had to be inside the shell, Robert. You could have a clam shell with just like a cock and balls that hang
Then we got to add that to the wall, dude.
Dude, at the Comedy Store?
Yeah. No, here.
Oh, okay. Dude, they finally put clam dick on the wall at the store. He's a regular.
I know it sounds like an 80s this is clam dick. Like you just like crushed too. It's so weird back in the day.
After Annie Letterman had him on his podcast, I mean, dude, clam dick kind of blew up, dude.
Clam dick, dude.
Clam dick.
Dude,
I'm just imagining a clam with like a big, just a hog hanging from it, just a limp hog. Oh, dude, it's ridiculous. I'd wear that on a shirt, dude. I saw clam dick live or something like that. It's just got the dude.
What would a clam dick joke be, dude?
It's tough out there in these streets being only well-hung clam.
There you go.
I don't know. Give me a punchline, dude. Am I just writing this myself from scratch live on TV?
Oh man, yeah. I don't know.
You got something for me there?
Yeah. I was in the.
I make the chowder myself. Sorry, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a little clammy in my balls. Nah,
there's got to be something more. There's got to be.
He's got to get something real like deep. Like he's got to, like. Touch on some socio-political things, like
it's tough having this giant hog hanging out here because even when I close my shell, the sharks still have something to grab me by. I don't know. I was getting a blowjob from an anemone, and it was.
This is my favorite character, dude. We got to get a puppet of fucking clam dick, dude, with like a suit.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. That's coming. That's coming soon, clam dick.
No pun intended.
Yeah, dude. I love it.
Worst idea. Welcome to the worst idea special ever.
Dude.
Coming this fall to NBC. Clam dick.
Well, wasn't there a lot of like comedians like that back in the day, like the guy with a bag over his head? The like remember that plastic bag head or paper bag head?
Yeah, there was a baghead guy, just like there's Buckethead.
Yeah, Buckethead.
I thought Buckethead was making a joke about Slash, like he was like mocking Slash.
Yeah,
and I didn't know it was a real thing, and then you find out Buckethead's like one of the best guitarists that ever lived, and you're like, huh.
Well, I think they got him for Guns N' Roses because he had long brown curly hair and could shred. But he was like a weird character, but yeah, it was. I know. I thought it was.
Wait, did Buckethead play in Guns N' Roses?
He did, dude.
I thought Buckethead was lampooning Slash wearing his top hat.
We probably think that because he played with Guns N' Roses at one of their first like reunion shows. Like,
I didn't know that.
During he was on Chinese Democracy, that album that took forever to make. that came
And
out.
real life's taking even longer. Am I right, folks? We're gonna have to go force the democracy down their throat, I guess.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't want to get political here, but I think
No, I was talking about the band.
No, I was gonna say
the album.
Buckethead for president, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's super radical.
I'm sure that bumper sticker already exists, dude. I've been on Epsi lately.
On Epstein.
No, what's it called? Epsi.
Epstein. That's like
Epstein.
Yeah, if there's like an
Epstein. It's just Giselle and that other guy. What's the name? Fucking.
No, it's crafty conspiracy theory items.
Yeah.
You know, like
that's actually great. That's hilarious.
Anti-gay frog water or whatever. You know,
dude,
like
that makes me think of what's the album? Beelzebubba from God, what the hell's the name of the band?
the Steely Dan.
No.
Jimmy's Chicken Shack.
No, they were freaking the one that did Big Lizard in My Backyard.
Oh, Dead Milkman.
Dead Milkman. They had that song about what they do to the water, like. Oh God,
I forget. There's a great
another ad read. Here it is.
All right. Well, check it out. Snufffilms.com. A lot of good stuff going on. I'm just kidding. Snuff is no bueno, dude. A snuff is a snuff. Dude.
I have to go pee.
Okay. It was such a weird place. I think when you found other like-minded people, it was like you kind of gravitated towards other, folks that also liked Mel Brooks and also liked punk rock and all that stuff. And so, I remember seeing a commercial on TV at 11 years old about public access TV and how you could have your own show. And it was like this really trippy commercial. I remember that forever. It was like this weird dude that did it. But I remember watching the shows and getting so excited because I just loved movies. I loved sketch comedy. I loved all that stuff. And so your Kids in the Hall, all that, everything was just, I consumed it. And so seeing an opportunity to do that, like my brother and I would make videos together. We'd do little sketches with our video camera, our action figures, whatever, our friends. And I remember my mom taking me to take the test to become a producer. But we got around it because you're supposed to be 18. I was 12 when we did it. And so it was nuts when I started doing the show and meeting Josh Thompson and seeing those, there's a show, Happy Half Hour Freak Show Extravaganza, that you were on.
Yeah.
That was an Adult Swim level quality.
Oh, it was so great.
Show. It was so ahead of its time, so funny, like a Tim and Eric show easily. And we were so fortunate to have like those kind of dudes there because, dude, it was fucking hilarious. It was so weird. I mean, so strange and so awesome.
And so self-authoritative that they were like, we'll make this show. And they just made it.
Yeah. And it
Raymond and Josh, dude.
Just amazing artists, dude. I mean, Ray passed away a few years ago now, but I'll never forget how cool he was to us. How he kind of appreciated our he was then we were kids, but he got what we were doing, so they were always cool to us. Him and Josh, Josh Thompson was the first person I knew where I was like, oh shit, you can actually do comedy, you can actually do this professionally, because he got on Howard Stern because he did these amazing impressions that were like the actual speak, because there's a lot of cornballs then that were like, I'm Arnold, hey, I fuck my own asshole, hey, with a schnitzel in my fucking butt.
Yeah,
that's what they would do.
There was some cheesy stuff.
But Josh was pretty on point, and it sounded like how Arnold actually speaks, right? But it was impressive, and so he got on that, and it was like, whoa, and that's where we started getting our, inspiration of, man, we could actually do something. And then some of the local bands we knew took off. We've always been around stuff that was just it was in Chino Hills alone where it got started, and it was like, man, so that was a good way to get going, was just being surrounded by other artists that were doing funny shit. I know it's like a cornball thing artist, but dude, Tim Abad does crazy conceptual stuff for Kendrick Lamar and all these. It's just so cool. But fortunate that we grew up with some of those people, there in Chino of all places.
I mean, it was a special area, and as much as it was cool to be like, this place sucks.
Yeah.
That was just a cultural meme, to say that.
Right.
But in actuality, it's we had the freedom and security to live the good life and experiment. Even the cops in Chino Hills were, people talk about how bad they could have been so much worse, and they realized so many times we had sheriffs, and they realized so many times these are kids fucking around.
Yeah.
And they treated us that way.
Except our dare officer that got busted for fucking around with kids.
Oh, that's a bummer too, because he was so nice. He was always really nice to me.
Oh, you knew him?
Yeah, he
You
was
know
really
what I'm
nice to me.
talking
It's
about?
funny
Yeah.
you bring him up. That's pretty crazy. So I
Yeah.
guess I have to retract everything I said. The other cops were always really good. I mean, I saw, like, even as a kid, I remember a couple of my friends doing some things that I was like, that's actually wrong, and I think you shouldn't do that, even though we're punk rock. I was like, maybe don't threaten the cop right now and swing at him.
Yeah,
Like my
yeah.
buddy Dave, who got like literally dropped by cops multiple times and arrested because he would just like flip out on them, and I'd be like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it was a wild place to grow up, and in a good way. And we got to be creative, and we got busted by the cops a bunch, but they never literally beat the living shit out of us or pulled their guns on us. As in certain areas, like we have friends the same age as us that were like in areas where the cops like pulled guns on them and like did crazy shit to them, and like
Well, we should say that you're right. There's a lot of exciting
I'm right,
shit.
but what are you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say we should get to the Cooper house someday. Like, for
Oh,
maybe
we're not gonna
Halloween.
go over it right now.
I think it's too long of a story. I think it's too. We could do a whole episode, dude. It's so fascinating.
Okay,
Like a Halloween episode. That'd be fun, dude.
that sounds like not like fun for Halloween. That sounds like a terrifying horror
maybe you're
episode.
right.
Like Halloween, I'm like, can you do like a fun episode for Halloween?
All
Like
right, all right.
Simpsons.
Well-
Simpsons don't go like in 1937 when the
True.
Nazis blah blah blah. Like the Simpsons is well, I guess I don't know why I'm comparing us to the Simpsons.
Well, the green mist is another one. That's another myth. And
Tell them you're talking about Chino Hills. Like make it interesting.
So there's a gas at 3 a.m. It comes out for the hours, I think 3 to like 5 a.m. There's this green mist that appears, and I can't make it more interesting other than that it's a random green mist. Actually, did you know what it is? Why it is?
I thought it was like the way the light hits the stuff, and it's just like urban legend. Like, suburbs, like people are bored and they have to make up stuff.
No, but
Erie,
it's
Indiana
real.
stories.
It's a real thing.
It's real.
Yeah, here, let's see.
Is that why everyone has cancer in Los Serranos?
Yeah, everyone does have. They used to test bombs here too. Aerojet. There's that.
They
whole-
filmed War of the Worlds there too.
Really
In Chino State Park.
So there's this place, Aerojet, in Chino Hills, where they used to make. It was like a factory.
Yeah, you can Wikipedia that shit.
Yeah.
There was like a bomb testing facility there.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of our friends have cancer, and probably why we're the way we are.
Sounds so bummer.
Yeah.
And that's why everyone has cancer.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, we know a lot of people with like absolutely hilarious mental disabilities
Yes.
and weird situations that you're like, what's going on in that fucking city? What was in the water? Like people are like, it's arsenic, it's aliens, it's missile testing. It's like there's so much stuff going on in Chino Hills.
Right,
I
yeah.
I think we should talk about that right now.
Yeah. Okay. So there was the Aerojet factory years ago. My friends, we were like in high school. A friend of ours was one of the first people to drive, and I remember he like told us this story about how he got through the gates at Aerojet because there was this famous white van that would chase you because it was a government van and it would like get you off the property.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you doing? Because kids would go back there to get hand jobs or smoke a joint or fuck with the Ouija board or whatever. And so this guy would come around.
I like hand jobs and joints, but the Ouija board thing, keep me the hell away from that.
Yeah.
Smoke the joint, then get the hand job, then get the fuck out of there. That's
Yeah.
my plan.
I agree, dude.
You're hunting ghosts? Let me just bust it out real quick and I'll be right out of your way. Thank you.
So John, come to
That shit scares the shit out of me.
Ouija boards.
Yeah, anything like that where it's like, don't ask the ghost to hang out with you.
Yeah, Milton Bradley was onto something.
Oh
or
my
Mattel
God. Yeah,
or
they're probably like an
whoever.
Illuminati company, right?
Yeah.
It's like some Masons that are like, yeah, summon the demons.
You know, it'd be great for the kids. He's
Yeah.
in a cloak.
Yeah.
Yeah, summon the dead.
And then continue being wage slaves until you die. That's the Illuminati plan.
True. It's
We'll be on
working.
Elysium before you know it. Yeah, summon the demons.
It really is that. I
Okay,
mean, it's-
okay, go on.
Well, so-
I interrupted you,
No.
and for that, I apologize. Not just
all
to
right.
you, but to our listeners. Now get back to it, Roberto.
Well, Aerojet had a lot of lore as well growing up. So he saw it. He said that it was like lights were on. He like went by and he said the
Yeah.
fucking lights were on. And he was like,
Yeah.
And I didn't know that because it's supposed to be this closed facility, but it may, I don't know. But he like was chased out and he drove over this like creaky bridge. It was the greatest story. I mean, I've heard so many things about it where I feel like, I don't know if people are just mixing up the lore. There was also a man that was, have you heard of Pigface?
I don't know.
There's a pig-faced man that like got an act. So apparently Pigface, I think this sounds like fucking like Avenger movies where like they go on too long or horror movies.
Sounds like The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah, well,
Pig face sounds
yeah.
terrifying.
Hey, Venus, they got live one here.
Yeah, that sounds terrifying.
Yeah, so Pigface supposedly worked at Aerojet. Like he was getting off a shift one day and got hit by a car and got disfigured. And so he was like a disgruntled guy that named Pigface that had.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He probably had a pig cock too.
As long as you didn't have a clam dick, that's mine. And then the clam pops up.
I know. We got to get a little like brick background.
I know you already said that. Oh, for him to do stand up.
yeah,
That's so
yeah.
stupid.
Yeah,
Clam
dude.
Dick doing his spot.
And he could do every like just bad joke about anything topical. Like, oh, dude.
I call Ryder.
Yeah, Clam Dick coming soon. But no, I pun intended, dude. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff.
Just pearls shoot out.
Yeah.
Bing, 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 bing. Oh, that was so nice.
God,
Anyone got a smoke?
some clam chowder now.
After he busts pearl nuts, he smokes a cigarette. Bing, 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 bing.
Yeah, that's his closer's just blowing a load, dude. It's just like
But we keep him around because we're making money off of the pearls.
dude. Clam Dick all the way, dude. Whoever
He makes us jack him off. We're like, hey, Clam Dick, could we get a couple more pearls? We're trying to buy a couple more lights for the studio. And he's like, okay, but you got to make it happen. And he just stands back, and we're like, I did it last time, Robert. And then you have to jack him off.
I know.
It's like a huge cock, too.
Oh God. Yeah, do it for
Might go faster if you suck it. No thanks, Clam Dick.
Yeah. I know. We got to do
He
it.
just pops up right here.
What's best for only clams?
Only clams.
Come on, dude. I love it. No,
Okay,
so-
sorry, I interrupted you. Get back to
no.
what you were saying. We're staying on topic.
Yes, but I don't know. There was a lot of lore there. I mean, there was the pig face. There was Aerojet. There was the Cooper House is the one though that we all knew and that we all heard about. And
Cooper House is terrifying because all of the other stuff is urban legend that probably has a little truth to it. Like Aerojet's probably a little something, but it's probably not as crazy as what people say, like most conspiracy theories.
yeah, it's like
But
old like
the
it's
Cooper
like
House?
It reminded me of like hearing about like Hercules, where you're like it was larger than life.
It's people
You know?
because it's a natural thing to use your imagination, especially in a small town.
Yeah.
And it's quiet at night and you got your imagination and kids are going to say weird shit and make up stuff and stories you're going to play telephone.
Yeah, Romulus and Remus, finding Rome. It sounds like one of those things where it's like these dudes that like Remus, dude.
But
Romulus, my favorite gay porn.
But all that stuff is like urban legend and it's weird and it's probably got maybe some little truths here and there to it.
Yeah.
Cooper House is terrifying because this
It's
is a
real. It
fucking
actually
real
happened. Yeah.
story. It's brutal and disgusting and terrifying.
Yeah.
Tell the story, Robert.
Well, we'll get into some spooky story here. I'll try to summarize it as quick as possible. Growing up, you always heard about the Cooper House. Stay away. That's where people were murdered, right? And so it was this ranch house. The reality is, dude, there's a 48 hours that show on CNN where they go into it, and that was when I finally
The first 48?
No, that's like where it's live, like shit going down in Detroit.
Yeah.
Some guy got his leg amputated, cut off in a drug, whatever.
No, there's like an actual episode, like a 60 Minutes on it. Or
Yes,
something like that.
yeah.
Okay.
On CNN, and they go into it, and it's fascinating because hearing it like spoken aloud on TV or just like it was kind of crazy to have that full circle, but to also hear details that I never knew.
Yeah.
Because forever it was very hazy. He was trying to get out of it for forever. He was trying to get free because he claimed that he was framed. It is a very suspicious.
Wait, tell the story of like the
what
murder,
happened.
because I think that's the most interesting part before you find out like about like all the weird details that were scary about it and weird and all that
Well, like
stuff.
as a
But
kid,
the murder itself is like horrifying.
Yeah, well, okay. So as a kid, you just heard about. Let's do it. Let's do an ad read, dude.
We are doing an ad read. We're in our
Okay.
ad read wardrobe.
Yo, what up? Yo, this is the ad read. Yeah, bitch. I mean, lady of.
Do I have to do a voice or can I just be me right now?
You could be you.
Or you want me to be like, welcome to the ad read?
I like that.
You want me to do a character?
Sure.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll do a character for the ad read. We got a couple sponsors that we need to talk about right this second. First sponsor, A Piece That Remains.
A piece that remains.
And now a piece remains. You ever have a loved one pass on, whether it's human or non-human, as long as it's biological and has some sort of particulate that it's made out of? Good. Then this product is for you, because D at A Piece That Remains will take those particles, aka the ashes, don't just send her any kind of flesh, the ashes will be taken and put into art that you can forever immortalize and appreciate. The good thing about D is that she respects your loved ones. She will take great care of your loved ones. She won't save a little bump of them and then do them like Keith Richards did of his father when he passed away. No, she'll take all of your loved ones and put it into some art. And that's what D does in A Piece That Remains. Here's the graphic.
It's very thoughtful, yo. Yeah.
Very thoughtful. We're impressed with what you do, D, and we hope that our listeners will be impressed too. Use this code to get a discount. I didn't clarify this with D, but road dogs.
Road dogs.
And get a special gift. I hope she has a special gift for them because
her art, dude.
Her
creation.
No,
for
that's what she's
loved ones.
already offering them. She's going to have to do more now if they use that special code.
Well, oh, wait. I don't know.
What have we done? We're sorry, D.
We're sorry.
But hurry up and figure out something genius for these people. All right, so let's say your loved one hasn't passed away, but you'd like to get a gift for a loved one. Thank God they're still alive. Get them a gift, damn it. Thomas Swick's going to help you out here because Thomas is an amazing, handmade, old school, with their beautiful glass-covered hands, handmade, man-made, handmaiden glass maker.
Try saying that 10 times fast.
Let's do the song. Let's do the song.
All right.
Suck my swig.
Suck my swig.
Is he making glass art? Suck my swig. Here's his graphic. All right, hit up Thomas. Tell him that we sent you and use the code Road Dogs for a special gift. Sorry, Thomas. We didn't clarify that.
Volunteering special gift.
I haven't learned fast enough. Fuck, we did it on the last one. We gotta do. All right. And our third sponsor, but definitely not the
last sponsor.
They all make it on the podium, 1 through 3, right? First,
yeah,
second, and third place.
Oh yeah.
They're not in order. It's in no particular order. Our sponsors are all equal in our hearts. All right, and for our third sponsor, I got a mosquito bite in my garage, and he'll help you with this kind of stuff. But what he'll really help you with, his name is Cole Strange. He will help you get a mortgage for your next property, whether it is your lived-in house that you're going to occupy yourself or an investment property.
Or a, futuristic house of the future like Disneyland. You know what I mean? He'll hook it up.
That's right. If you want to buy Disneyland, as long as you got a good enough credit and a 25% down payment, then you can get yourself some Disneyland. So hit up Cole Strange. Here is his contact info.
Okay, this is what happened. A ranch house in Chino, the hills of Chino. It was unincorporated Chino then. In 1983, this family, the Ryan family, were brutally murdered by Kevin Cooper, this guy who escaped. At the time, it wasn't as maximum of a prison in Chino. I think it was it was like you could go to prisoners would go to the store and stuff.
Oh, they could get let out under supervision?
Yeah. And so then
it's like that. Did you ever see that State episode? Was it The State or one of those sketch shows where they have a jail that you could just walk right out of it?
That's amazing.
It was like that. They're like, "Oh, you want to go get some groceries? Yeah, go to Wiener Schnitzel. Go for it.
Yeah.
Just come back. Remember, you're in jail."
Yeah. He comes with the groceries from Wiener Schnitzel. It's just like the chili.
So it was like a minimum security prison.
Yeah. So he.
There was a family of how many people, Robert?
Well, there was.
I'll ask the questions here.
A family.
You
of
can't
4.
handle the truth.
It was a family of 4, and so
family of 4.
They owned this ranch property, and they had a little guest house.
A guest house on a ranch property.
Yeah, and so he escaped. He hung out in the guest house, and then in the middle of the night, stabbed all of them brutally.
This is before Simply Safe, by the way.
Yeah.
Not a sponsor, but just letting you guys know.
Yeah.
Because nowadays you'd be like, the Ring camera is showing this guy with an axe trying to get into our ADU.
Yeah.
But in this time, he was able to just kind of chill out in there and do what people do chilling out in a guest house.
Yeah, and so it's fucked.
Sharpening his axe.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, and so he stabbed them like 100. It was like brutal. But one of the son, he lived. What's nuts is they had a friend come over too. They begged their childhood friend to come over, who was like a kid of Neutrogena company for some reason was there, and they were killed. But he survived by holding his throat like all night.
The
kid,
he was hit with the neighbor's
son.
Kid.
No, the
neighbor's son was killed.
He was killed.
And the actual son
survived. The daughter died. The mom and dad died, and the friend
terrifying.
And so he held his throat all night, and he was hit with the back of a hammer or the axe handle. He survived.
This is a comedy podcast. I don't even know why I begged you to tell the story now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dog. I got to figure out how to make this funny. I don't know, but what happened is he survived, and so he told the initial detective that it was either 3 white men or 3 Hispanic men that did it. That's the original.
Pick
story.
One of the 2, detective.
Yeah, but then he later when asked again, he said it was when they found Kevin Cooper. He said it was a guy with frizzy hair, and so that opened up this whole thing. There's other people that said they saw 3 white guys covered in blood at the Canyon Corral. Good old Canyon Corral.
Which is another restaurant we had in Chino's, which is now like a CVS. They plotted down for a CVS.
Yeah, I did this whole fake sketch where I was like a guy complaining, like a shit kicker, where he's like, I don't know what you guys got rid of Canyon Corral for. It's a smoky bar where there'd be like live bands. It looked like the bar in Terminator where he comes in and
totally
it up.
It was a real honky tonk in Chino Hills, dude.
I have a strange memory from the early 90s when you could still smoke in bars, going in there and seeing all that. Like, it's weird that I still
the cloudy air, yeah.
Yeah, and so that was where those guys were spotted, and they were covered in blood, and this woman said that she saw like a cop in there, and she's like, oh, well, maybe she thought it was guys maybe that like slaughtered pigs, because then it was still like a dairy kind of community. So it was like, okay, that's strange, but she's like, oh, the cops will probably ask them if there's anything. And so one of them, but
they were white, so the cops were like, howdy.
Yeah, pretty much, and it's fucked up, and that is a big part of it. People bring racist shit when Kevin Cooper was caught. Like, it's really
for
fucked
sure.
Up. Oh yeah, it was San Bernardino in the 80s. Like, what
yeah,
the fuck
dude.
do you expect?
That would happen in San Dimas in 2024.
Yeah, pretty much.
Definitely the black fella. That one right there.
Yeah,
not the 3 white guys holding the axe covered in blood. No, dude. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, one of them.
We have the same truck. Of course they're innocent. That guy right there.
Yeah,
the one listening to the loud music in the park.
Well, I guess like
like how I kind of stereotyped him, but in a friendly way, and still defended him.
Yes.
Okay, good.
That was good. Dude.
We're all about racial equality, which means we can riff on anyone.
Yeah,
but
dude.
we're not sending people to jail just based on race.
No,
but we will riff on anyone.
Well, I guess this guy was one of the 3 dudes was an actual murderer. He had gone to prison before for killing his girlfriend.
But he was white, so they were like, "Yeah, still not him."
Yeah. Well, he died in 2004, and I guess he went to his deathbed like claiming innocence. But there's a lot of theories that he knew Kevin Cooper and they like worked together because they found different blood. So Kevin Cooper, his blood was on the scene. Like, he definitely was involved. And he was, for years, he said because they found other blood that he was innocent and he was framed. But his blood was there too. And, when they caught him, he just raped a girl. He escaped their house with their car and he raped some girl in Long Beach. So it's not like he was like a sweetheart anyways. It's all fucked up.
That's always like finish the end of the, you're like, let's find out more about this person though that they caught.
Yeah.
Because people will be like, they shouldn't be in jail. It's like, okay, that might be true, but also like if he's a rapist, you still got to keep that motherfucker locked up.
Yeah. I never knew that about. I never knew that aspect.
All these people are like picketing, like let Kevin go. You're like, no, don't let him go. Just maybe figure out what other crime he did because it wasn't that one.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, so he did though.
Oh God.
But
what a wild world we live in, folks.
Yeah,
right, Clam Dick. And he just pops up with his dick. It's like it's crazy, and then pops back down again. Clam Dick.
But yeah, so Kevin,
we have to have a puppeteer at the show. It's hard to make our podcast because now someone has to sit behind the couch and puppeteer Clam Dick.
We're looking. We'll put on Reddit or Craigslist or whatever exists.
We could have our sponsors take turns coming down and being Clam Dick.
Clam Dick.
I think all of our sponsors would be able to puppeteer.
I think so.
Okay, so Kevin Cooper is in jail. He's claiming innocence, even though we both know he's guilty of severe crimes against humanity anyways, so we still can't let him out.
Arnold Schwarzenegger got involved. And, totally.
What did he say? Maybe we should have call Josh and have Josh tell us what he said.
Oh, dude.
Wouldn't it be great if Josh answers like, hello.
That would be amazing.
You can't let him out.
I don't know if he would answer right now. I don't know. I mean, that would be
Josh
really
won't answer
funny.
right now.
Yeah, but I'll do it, yeah, he fired up. No, I won't do it. I'm not going to try.
That was horrible.
Thank you.
We both did horrible Arnold impressions, and that's why Josh is the guy doing that, not us.
Yeah. No, but I guess Arnold, he was going to get put to death, and he was pleading, and Arnold made sure that it was going to happen. But then the laws changed in 2014, I think, to put people to death in California. So he got out of it. So he's still alive. He's in prison.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
But so the crazy,
it's just my tax dollars buying him, a little bit of food, some gym equipment. That's fine.
Yeah, well,
I just don't want him out here hurting anyone. Can't win them all, but at least don't let him out running around and
Right. Yeah, the son though.
Why'd you say it like you don't agree with me?
No.
Right, John. You don't want Kevin Cooper around? He's a great guitarist. He really would contribute to the arts.
I know. Well, I guess like the son that lived. He came out and he's like, look, he drags me through this every few years, like trying to get, out. And he's like, it's a nightmare. I have to relive this nightmare.
Oh, God. Yeah.
All the time.
There is
And that's
so
what's
much of
fucked
that
up.
in our society where
Yeah,
it's like
that's
we
what's
make people
sad.
that have trauma like fucking go through it over
That's why I
and
don't
over
like
again.
the Netflix shows all the time. They're always like, I mean, it's interesting and I get it to document it, but sometimes it's like I don't know, like do the Dahmer victims want to like relive that all the time? Like,
Okay, first of all, television producers, they don't give a shit about people's feelings and the trauma. They want to
Really?
get good TV. It's
I
about
thought they were
emotion.
about humanitarian.
That's what I mean. Some of them are, but dude, come on, like,
Yeah.
they're like, sorry to put you through this,
We knew
but
they're gonna make a John Wayne Gacy.
we're making a movie here.
They were gonna make a John Wayne Gacy spinoff, or like another one. Like it was gonna be like a metaverse.
Because people get off on it.
Yeah, a universe.
People get off on crime.
Yeah.
I used to like sex crimes and violent crimes. People like they don't like to admit it, but they're into it. There's a South Park episode about it. I used to do a crime podcast, and we went to a crime convention. We're like, people are like into this in like a different way than what I know how to verbalize. Like people are into crime. Like it's just like a weird thing. Because like I think the wires for violence and terror and pleasure are like very close in people's brains. I'm talking like I'm a scientist.
Well, what do they have to
but,
add
like, I'm
gain
not.
from it? We'll be right back with Clam Dick.
That's
coming
what
right up.
Clam Dick would say. He'd
Yeah.
come back and be like, we'll be right back after
All
this
right, we
message.
need to
And
get
then,
Clam
his
Dick.
dick would like drag on this thing when it falls back behind there. We
Especially-
can't afford Clam Dick right now. The puppet itself and it's going to be a custom puppet. You're not
Yeah.
gonna Google clams with dick puppets and they're gonna be like, whoa, there's there's a Japanese version, there's a black version, you have
Dude,
to
Clam
make that.
Dick's
You have to
the
get that made.
fucking Runaway star, dude.
Dude.
He's waiting, dude. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, it's a crazy place. I'm glad though that we got out of
Clam
it.
Dick gets on Howard Stern and we're like, Clam Dick, is the Road Dogs going on Howard Stern? It's like, I talked to my agent. We're like,
Yeah.
Clam Dick, like he's
Yeah.
just a puppet that just runs off.
Oh yeah, he would be our triumph, dude. He'd like just eclipse us,
Oh,
dude.
God, I love Triumph. You can't even compare.
Dude, well, dude, yeah, like the funny thing is, I want to talk about something kind of cool. You know,
Hopefully it's with the
Josh-
Kevin Cooper murders because we're still talking about that subject.
Well, so
Did we talk about everything?
I mean, I want to round it off here. Me and a friend of mine went there. God, Jamil and I went like fucking 8 years ago or something 6 years ago to the site, right, where everyone would go. The house is still there. The house is still there. And whoever's living in it is like some dude in like a Budweiser hat. My Marco went on a ride along with cops years ago, and they went by there and they're like, everything going all right? And the guy's like, yeah, you're not getting any, because kids would go and like, fuck around at their guest house. Now whoever lives in that house now got a great deal because that house is.
There's no deal good enough to live in a house where people were brutally murdered.
Wait a
like,
second. Have you had to deal with that?
no, dude. Like, if somebody dies in a house,
Yeah. What do you have
then
to
you
disclose?
you just let people know, like, hey, somebody passed away in here. First of all, the murder that's is not that common that like someone's bludgeoned to death or axed to death in a house. So it's like it's very rare. People dying in the house is common.
Yeah.
You involved in enough real estate, you'll be like, oh, someone freaking died over here. But like peacefully died, like as an old person or had a heart attack and fell out of their chair is a lot different than someone like being murdered.
Yeah.
Like knowing that it happened there, it's like, I don't even know how to explain it. The mentality of knowing like somebody was like cut in half here is much different than like, oh, like my grandparents died in their house and it's like, it's not scary. Like they passed away like peacefully how they wanted to in the house that like has all that history in it. That's different than like, hey, some guy like chopped he slit throats in here. You're like, yeah, you can't, I won't buy this house for a fucking $1. You know what I mean? Like, and that like underneath all of us, we're standing on like the skulls of every Native American that was brutally murdered too. But it's not like something it's so everywhere that you don't even know about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I get the
But if you
aura's
find out
left.
someone was, someone could have been murdered in my house. But I don't think that they were. And I never felt like the energy of like someone was killed or there's a lot of love in this place. But
I want to add on to what you're saying. I
forbid you. No, please do.
Well, we went there, and so they had just tore down the guest house where everyone would go and fuck around. Because growing up, everyone said that was the Cooper house, and it was like still a crime scene. It was still like closed, so kids would break in and they'd drop pentagrams and like fuck and give hand jobs and play with the Ouija board and play Candyland and just fuck some more and. No, but
Like he tried to call back to the hand jobs and the Ouija board.
Well,
you forgot joint smoking.
they smoke joints, all that stuff.
That
right?
was my list. I really like that list.
Yeah, do fentanyl, opium, whatever. Maybe fentanyl wasn't as big then, but they
Triggered. People die from that.
Oh shit!
One of our friends died from that. Come on.
Damn, I think more than one probably.
Yeah, actually a handful of them, but
Yeah.
but most recently, Foo.
Yeah. Oh man.
Foo died during the pandemic.
Dude, yeah, it's brutal, man. It's
God, all we do is talk about our dead friends
know,
on this
God
fucking
damn.
podcast. The podcast is themed after one of our best dead friends.
Oh, dude.
Dude, and like we're just like,
Yeah, but
he died, and then we're talking about like Raymond. And I guess the older you get, the more you're going to talk about your dead friends on podcasts, right?
guess
That's just like
so.
a thing, right?
Yeah.
If we were like 20-year-olds on a podcast, we might be like, oh, this one person died, but like you start getting a little older, and you start like everything reminds you of your dead friends.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Changing the name from Road Dogs to Dead Dogs.
Dead dogs.
Green Pie would laugh at that.
Yeah. I mean, dude.
He would laugh at that.
Dude. I think
Dear Lord, dead dogs, dear Lord.
but yeah, there was a heaviness when we went. There was a heaviness, and you saw some of the tile and stuff from like the guest house, and there was like a heaviness there, like still, where I'm like, yeah, that isn't worth shit, dude. Any deal that you get on that house. But my friend said he was in a wife beater and a Budweiser hat, like the guy that owns.
There are people that are just like, I don't care, I want that. You're like, you sure?
Yeah. It's
Even just like houses next to a freeway is bad. You're like, you sure you want to live like this close to the freeway? Like it's loud and there's like particulate matter that's going to come up. You're going to inhale it. It's going to probably be bad for your health. They'd be like, no, we don't care about that. You're like, you sure?
It's a great deal. Flies may swarm you while you're taking a shit.
Yeah.
Like in,
Yeah.
Amityville, you know?
I haven't seen Amityville. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
All this stuff is very scary.
Yeah, well,
Can we talk about SpongeBob?
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know,
yeah.
right? We're releasing this way before Halloween.
Actually, all right, you know what? Let's call Evan and see
Ooh, phone calls.
If Evan knows of anything brutal, dude. He
Evan, do you know of anything brutal? You put it on speakerphone?
Yeah.
Evan, do you know?
This is a segment we like to call Call Dogs.
Call dogs?
Call Dogs.
Call dogs go to
Go
heaven.
to heaven. We have to make about dead people.
Cheers. Cheers, my boy.